大家好，欢迎你回到 CHI 113的频道，我是高老师。今天我们要学第一课，对话2。Hey everyone, this is Gao 老师 and welcome back to our CHI 113 pre-class videos. Today we'll be focusing on Lesson 1, Dialogue 2, which is all about greetings, or in Chinese, 问好. Let's look now at what's expected of you before our next class session. If you engage with this video as you're instructed to, then before the next class, you'll be able to accomplish the following learning objectives. Number 1, you'll be able to understand and be able to pronounce, of course, using the correct tones, all of the assigned vocab words from Lesson 1, Dialogue 2. Number 2, you'll be able to read and fully comprehend on your own the dialogue. Number 3, you'll have a basic understanding of the dialogue's main grammar points, and there's 4 that we'll be focusing on here in this pre-class video. And number 4, you're going to be able to learn how to read and write all of the characters for next class's dictations quiz. 准备好了吗？好的，我们开始吧。Let's begin where we always do by first listening to the audio of our new vocab words from Lesson 1, Dialogue 2. Again, please try your best to mimic the pronunciation you hear out loud. And if you want to follow along in your textbook, please turn to page 32 in your Integrated Chinese textbook.
Lesson 1, Dialogue 2. Vocabulary. 1.
是
To be. 2.
老师
Teacher. 3.
吗
Question particle. 4.
不
Not. No. 5.
学生
Student. 6.
也
2. Also. 7.
人
People. Person. Proper nouns. 8.
中国
China. 9.
北京
Beijing. 10.
美国
America. 11.
纽约
New York.
Please go back and listen to this audio at least 2 to 3 more times, repeating out loud what you hear. Now it's time to move ahead and listen to the audio from the textbook dialogue. Again, I would suggest listening to this audio at least 3 times just to make sure you can fully understand what's being said. And if you want to follow along with your textbook, please turn to page 30 in your Integrated Chinese textbook.
Lesson 1, Dialogue 2. Asking about someone's nationality.
王先生你是老师吗
我不是老师，我是学生。李友，你呢？
我也是学生。你是中国人吗？
是，我是北京人。你是美国人吗？
是，我是纽约人。
Please go back and listen to this audio at least 2 more times, making sure you can fully comprehend what both speakers are saying. For those of you wanting more practice learning our new vocab words from Lesson 1, Dialogue 2, don't forget to take advantage of Quizlet. It's a free website that you can use, and it can really help you better learn the new vocab words through their flashcard-based tests. To start using Quizlet, just scan the QR code on the screen or click on the link below in the description section of this video. The first grammar point in the dialogue, which is in red font here on the slide, is 是, and this is how it appears in the dialogue. So Leo says this, 王先生,你是老师吗? The ma, which we'll get to soon, just turns a statement into a question. But let's look at the first grammar point, 是. The verb 是 means to be, and it's used in a sentence to connect the subject and the object. The object can be a noun, a pronoun, or a noun phrase, but it cannot be an adjective. And importantly, to form the negative structure, the word 不 should be placed immediately before 是. So there's two patterns we have here. The positive form, subject, 是, object, and the negative form, subject, 不是, object. 王鹏是老师吗? Wang Peng shi. Lao shi ma? Is Wang Peng a teacher? You would say Wang Peng bu shi lao shi. Wang Peng shi xue sheng ma? Wang Peng shi xue sheng ma? Is Wang Peng a student? You would say Wang Peng shi xue sheng. So there we have the negative form and the positive form. 李友是美国人吗? 李友是美国人吗? And hopefully you would answer 李友是美国人. And here's an important feature of the Chinese language. Very much like English, it's an SVO language, meaning most sentences are structured with the subject coming first, followed by the verb, and then followed by the object. Let's continue our practice of the verb 是. 王鹏是中国人吗? 王鹏是中国人吗? And hopefully you answered 王鹏是中国人. And again, we see the structure here of subject, verb, object. 好的，我们来练习一下. Let's take a moment now to practice. So please form questions and affirmative answers below based on the information. And you're going to want to pause the video here now because I'm about to give away the answers. Number 1. The question would be 王鹏是学生吗? 王鹏是学生吗? The affirmative answer would be 王鹏是学生. 王鹏是学生. Number 2. The question would be 李友是美国人吗? 李友是美国人吗? And the affirmative answer would be 李友是美国人. 李友是美国人. Let's move on now to look at the second grammar point, ma, which, as I said earlier, just turns a statement, a declarative statement, into a question. So Leo, she says, 王先生,你是老师吗? Let's look at this ma. So the question particle ma is added to the end of a declarative sentence to form a question. So if you want an affirmative answer, you simply drop the ma. In a negative answer, ma is dropped and a negative adverb, like the one we just learned, bu, is added before the verb. Let's practice. 他是学生吗? 他是学生吗? Is she a student? You would say 她不是学生,她是老师. 他呢? 他是学生吗? 他是学生吗? You would say 他是学生. Let's continue. 中文怎么说? is Wang Peng an American? 中文怎么说? Right? How do you say this in Chinese? Is Wang Peng an American? Hopefully you said 王鹏是美国人吗? 王鹏是美国人吗? So here we have the declarative sentence, Wang Peng is American, and we add the particle ma at the end to turn that sentence into a question. Let's try another one. 中文怎么说? Is Leo's surname Li? How do you think you would say that in Chinese? Good. 李友姓李吗? So again, 李友 is her name, 姓 to be surnamed, Li, and adding the ma at the end, the particle, changing this declarative sentence into a question. 我们练习一下. Let's practice now using this question particle ma. So please translate the following 3 sentences using ma, and pause the video now as you complete these exercises on your own. Number 1. 你是老师吗? 你是老师吗? Number 2. 你姓王吗? 你姓王吗? Number 3. 你是中国人吗? 你是中国人吗? The second grammar point we want to focus on here, or the third grammar point I should say we want to focus on here, is 不. So this negates the verb that comes after it. And here in the dialogue, this is how it appears. Wang Peng says, 我不是老师, 我是学生. Right? I'm not a teacher. I am a student. Let's look at this grammar point. So the negative adverb 不 is placed before the verb or an adjective. And 不 negates that verb or adjective. Let's practice. 王鹏是老师吗? 王鹏是老师吗? And hopefully you responded, 王鹏不是老师. Right? Wang Peng is not a teacher. 王鹏是美国人吗? 王鹏是美国人吗? And hopefully you responded, 王鹏不是美国人. Right? He is not an American. 李友是中国人吗? 李友是中国人吗? Is Leo a Chinese? 李友不是中国人. Right? 李友不是中国人. 李友姓有吗? 李友姓有吗? So is Yo Leo's surname? And hopefully you said 李友不姓有. Right? Don't forget in Chinese, the first character in a person's name is going to be their surname, is going to be their last name. 好, let's practice. 对不对? Let's look at number 1. Is this correct? 对不对? 你是老师? It is incorrect. What are we missing here? We're missing the ma. To turn this declarative sentence into a question, it has to have that ma particle at the end. 你是老师吗? That would be the correct way to ask if somebody was a teacher. Let's look at number 2. 我是不老师. Is that correct? 对不对? 不对. To negate a verb, the 不 must come before it. One rule to remember in Chinese is adverbs always come before the verbs. So you would say, 你不是老师. 你不是老师. 好的，我们练习. Let's practice using 不 here by giving negative answers to the following questions. And again, please pause the video now as you complete these exercises on your own. Number 1. 李友不是中国人。李友不是中国人。Number 2. 王鹏不是老师。王鹏不是老师。Number 3. 李友不是北京人。李友不是北京人。And hopefully, with all of these sentences I've been saying, you've noticed the tone change with 不. By itself, it's pronounced fourth tone. But when it's followed by another fourth tone character like 是, it changes to second tone. That's why we're saying 不是。不是。Let's return to the dialogue to look at how our final grammar point from dialogue 2 is used. So Wang Peng, he says, 我是学生，你呢? So he says, I am a student. What about you? And how does Leo respond? She says, 我也是学生，我也是学生. So let's look at this adverb 也. 李友是美国人，你呢？李友是美国人，你呢？ And if you were American, you could answer 我也是美国人，我也是美国人。李友不是中国人，你呢？李友不是中国人，你呢？ And if you weren't Chinese, you would answer 我也不是中国人，我也不是中国人。 So notice how the 也 comes before the negative marker 不。好的，我们练习一下。Please take a moment now to answer the questions in the affirmative using 也 and pause the video now as I'm about to give away the answers. Number 1. 我也是学生。我也是学生。Number 2. 我也是美国人。我也是美国人。Number 3. 我也不是老师。我也不是老师。For additional explanations and examples of these 4 key grammar points from Lesson 1, Dialogue 2, please do reference your Integrated Chinese textbook, pages 33 to 37. Now that you've listened to the audio several times for the vocab words and dialogue, have a basic understanding of the main grammar points, you should begin practicing writing the assigned characters for next class's dictation quiz. And again, as I mentioned in the last pre-class video, I'll go through these slides rather quickly, so please do go back and practice writing them at least several times using the correct stroke order. Number 1, 是 to be. Number 2, 老师 teacher. Number 3, 妈 a question particle. Number 4, 不 not no. Number 6, yeah, also. Number 7, 人 meaning people, person. And for number 8, 9, 10, and 11, it's important that you know how to pronounce them and how to read them, but at this point, I won't be testing you on how to write them. But let's go through these one by one. Number 8, 中国, meaning China. Number 9, 北京, meaning the capital of China, Beijing. Number 10, 美国, meaning the USA. Number 11, 纽约, meaning New York. The language our textbook uses can at times seem a bit stilted and formal. So in an effort to introduce you to some of the more common ways in Chinese to introduce yourselves, the additional study resource I'm sharing with you here today is a short YouTube video that walks you through the various ways of greeting someone as well as introducing yourself. So to begin watching this video, just scan the QR code on your screen here or click on the link below in the description section of the video. Enjoy. And lastly, once you feel comfortable with the new vocab words, the characters, and grammar points from Lesson 1 Dialogue 2, don't forget to take the Lesson 1 Dialogue 2 pre-class practice quiz in Canvas before our next class session. 好的，谢谢大家，下次见，再见。